Amy, can you hear me? Jamie, you there? Can you hear it or no? If you can hear me, type in the chat. Can you hear me? Jamie. Jamie. Okay. All right. As long as you can hear me, I just muted you so I can't hear the background. As long as you can hear, all good. Right. Hello, hello. Hey, Portia.
Hi,
How you doing?
good. How are you?
Good.
Great morning.
Hey, Amber.
Hi.
How you
Hi,
doing?
Am.
Hi, guys.
So I finally upgraded this thing so it doesn't cut us off. So
Woo.
got that all figured out. So we'll just go until we're done, but at least we won't get cut off. We get pretty close to the time, but it's just like those last minutes of us getting in a deep something. It's like, okay.
Amber's talking.
Yeah. I'll just wait another minute here to see if the rest of the gang gets on here. Did you guys, I know Portia was on it yesterday. I know you watched it. The message, right? Yeah, you were on there. It was it's exactly the title that I posted on Instagram for this message was, forgiveness matters. And that's what the message was about. And Nate stepped in this week to deliver the message because Chad was actually officiating a wedding of a friend of ours in Scottsdale. But Nate's outstanding. Like Nate's unbelievable dude. He's such a cool dude. And he's done so much at the church for them. And I think he's great at delivery. So I thought it was a pretty good message coming from him. But yeah, so like we said, we'll get started because obviously I don't want to kill too much time, but let's see, let's pull up one thing. We'll get rocking here. Where'd you hit? There we go. Here we go. Here we go. So I'll make sure I cover these. I have a whole slew of shit to talk, stuff to talk about. Sorry, wrong week. Yowzers. Forgive me. So just as far as covering the discussion stuff, from the message itself, some of the questions I just wanted to start with the points that were given to us. So point one was the forgiveness matters because it's Jesus' model for relationship. That's what he used to model for relationship is forgiveness. That's the core of it. It's the heart of it. It's the beating heart of the model for relationship. It's the main ingredient. Point two was forgiveness matters because forgiveness frees. So, I want to get into that one pretty good because forgiveness does free. It allows you to let go of a lot of internal stuff that's happening with you. It's not always about the other side or what's happened, the actual situation that's happened, or the other person on the other side of it. It's more about the freeing of your heart and soul. So, point two is forgiveness frees. Point three was forgiveness matters because we can do something about it, right? We're in control of this thing. We talk about the controllables all the time, but what do we have in front of us that we can control? Take those things. So make a list of everything you're struggling with, cross out all the things that you have control of, and then attack those other things, right? You're gonna cut that list in a hurry and you won't feel so overwhelmed with all the things you're struggling with. Make a list, everything that's hindering you, it's part of the struggle, and start crossing off the stuff that you don't have control over, and then tackle the things you do. Because there are a lot of things that we just don't have control of. It's going to happen to us in life. And you can't spend your time trying to fix those or avoid them or predict them. So cross those off because those are naturals and move on to the things you have control over. And then here's a couple group discussion questions, but I'm going to get into it because they're similar to what I'm talking about anyway. I think some of the major points that I took away from the message, one, it triggered me quite a bit, actually. A lot of things that he said, a lot of things that he was describing, using as analogies, triggered my life quite a bit. I got a little emotional listening to the message. Because it's something that, a lot of what he was saying is something that I've continually struggled in my life with. Is the big one was forgiving myself, not other people, but myself. And there was one big thing he said in the message that really got me. It's like it hit me with a moment because it really got me twisted because he said, we, by not forgiving ourselves, we put ourselves in our own prison cell. But the crazy thing is the door's not even locked. Right? Like we put ourselves in the prison, but there ain't no guard. The door's not locked. You can step out of it any time. You can open it up, walk out, and free yourself, free your soul. And I think what the trigger for me was, what crushed me so was one, because I related with it so deeply. Like I felt like I've lived my life like that I put myself in my own little prison. And when I got better at navigating through controlling what I see coming so I can be, my mental health be better, I was starting to let myself out. I realized that I can let myself out of it and I had control over that. But the real messed up thing was I'd return to it. Like I left the cell for the day to go do some stuff and then I came back like I was a dog and had to be in the cage. Like I put myself back in it. And that's, I think, what caught me off guard with the message, because self-forgiveness is crucial. Like without forgiveness of yourself, I mean, we can harbor feelings, we can harbor these things that are not ours, right? Guilt lives within intention. I believe that. I believe that intention matters. Good people do bad things. Always will. And that's okay if the intention behind it is different, right? Good people will do bad things. It's all about the intention of the bad things you're doing. If it's malicious, that's not good. That's bad people doing bad things. but good people always do bad things, and guilt lives inside the intention of it. So if you're heavy with guilt, you have to start asking the question like we talked last week about. Ask better questions. Why do I feel so guilty about that, what I just did, or how I treated my friend, or lack of, or how I got treated by my friend? Why do I feel so guilty about it? Well, maybe the question is, what's my role in it? Am I being a bad person, or am I a good person that something bad happened and that's just life? We talk about the controllables, right? Things that are out of our hands. Sometimes good people do bad things. Sometimes bad things happen to good people, and that is part of our life. So I think a huge one for me, the second huge point for me personally was Nate spoke about differentiating forgive and forget. Those two words. Like it's a big one. Like just because you forgive somebody does not mean you need to forget about what happened to put you in that place. That's not the point. Forgiving is not about forgetting. It did happen to you. It happened for a reason. You're supposed to take it. You're supposed to build from it. You're supposed to learn from it. It's not about letting it go and trying to erase it from existence because it happened. It's for you. But forgiveness is allowing your heart to have peace and the other side, even if they're not ready for the peace. I use a great analogy. Don't burn, you let them burn their side of the bridge down. Don't burn yours though. You know, you're still going to keep yours halfway out. And if they burn theirs, then they're not ready. Don't burn that bridge down. You leave that open. That's part of forgiveness. Maybe they come around and maybe their time to listen and hear God's word and come to that happens later, and they go out and buy more wood and they want to rebuild it and connect. But if yours isn't there, they have nothing to connect to. So leave yours up. Don't burn your bridge. Have forgiveness in your heart. You don't need to forget. That's not the purpose. There's two different things there. We get in this place where life happens to us, yeah, but we need to not forget so we can learn, but we do need to forgive so we can move forward in peace. Right? The lack of forgiveness will be the thing that scars your heart. That's the thing that scars your heart, the actual thing, way more so than the thing that actually happened that made you not want to forgive somebody. Not even the act, it's you harboring and holding on to that and saying, you know what, I'm not going to forgive that person. They did that to me, screw them. Like I'm not going to forgive. It's unforgivable. And that is what causes all the pain. That's what harbors. That's what lives inside of you. And what you're actually doing is putting yourself back in that prison. You're causing yourself more harm than the whole situation in the first place even did. Right? So we want to forgive that. I mean, forgiveness is the peace. The harboring is what causes the heartache, the heartbreak, disease within your body. It can even change the core of who you are as a person. Right? Like this comes from, we talked about this. We had a heavy one. I don't even know, maybe 3 weeks ago when Jason joined us. I mean, we had a heavy one about speaking things out loud. A lot of us keep secrets within our own heart and soul in our head that we don't even tell the closest people to us, out of fear of maybe resentment or fear of judgment or fear of that from ourselves, even not even what they'll think. And that's the harboring thing. That's the forgiveness. So let's get into we have to forgive ourselves first so that we can be capable of forgiving others for acts that sometimes are out of our hands. Sometimes they're not knowing they're doing it. It's a feeling that we feel maybe we're in a different space and we feel like they've wronged us. So I'm going to decide, I'm going to make the decision on what's going on between us. And that's not a way to live, because we're all in different places at different times, right? Even when you roll with somebody tight, side by side, you've been rolling with them, you guys are good, you're best friends, or you spend a lot of time together, co-workers, and it's all good, and somebody veers off. It doesn't change your relationship with them. It happens sometimes that you two are in a different space in life. the journey switched a little bit. We can't live in a world where we can't forgive people for living their own life. Right? And we definitely can't live in a world where we can't forgive ourselves. For me, what struck a chord for me, and I got emotional, was that now, fast forward, I think I've done very well to have tools around me to understand, one, when something's coming that triggers me, something that brings my mental health starts going in a lull. Like, I recognize it sooner now because I've been spending a lot of time on it, years on it. I recognize it sooner. Even sometimes when I can't stop it, prevent it from happening, when I get into it, even when I'm in it, I start to recognize that I'm in it quicker, use tools to get out of it. But there's sometimes it just pulls up. It got me a little bit today. And I don't even know why. Had a great morning, woke up, had a great morning. Was working today, doing some stuff. I don't even know. It came out of nowhere. Like, I was like that. It was already happening. I can't even explain it right now, but I'm assuming it's coming from this message. It was yesterday, me thinking about this message today that I was going to deliver, and excuse me, and talking about it and bring it up. But I'm telling you, that prison analogy got me, because, you know, I've known I have the keys to the door and I just keep returning to it. So I think to start, one is other people's stuff. This is the PG week, remember? I can't swear, so I'll say stuff. Other people's stuff is not yours to hold on to. It's not our job to harbor feelings at all. It's not our job to burn down the house if somebody mistreats you. Our job is service to others, regardless, right? You leave the 99 to go back and get the one. That's what he says, right? You leave the 99 to go get the one. If that one's being the donkey ass, see how I did that? I snuck it in there. If that donkey is being an ass and takes off because he's having a moment, she's having a moment, that doesn't mean you leave them. Doesn't mean you say, I can't forgive you. We talked about this when we started. Everybody's supposed to stay in line. We're all going together. We're all going to this destination together. You didn't listen to me. I don't forgive you. And that's it. You're on your own. That's not how it works. And it starts with the leader of that pack can't have unforgiveness in his vocabulary, her vocabulary, can't have it. Does not exist, right? Jesus said that he sent Jesus to literally sacrifice all that so you don't have to. So you don't have to go through this. You don't have to feel like, well, I can't forgive myself. He already went through that. It's already done. He did it for you. Walked away way long time ago, did it for you. Literally got crucified for it. Like, stepped up as the ultimate friend to you and did it for you so you can live the rest of your life with forgiveness and have peace. You don't want that scar in your heart, because scars don't go away. They just sit and they stay dormant, and they tighten and they tighten and they tighten. And they pull the other good skin tighter and closer. You don't want that. So I think one, this is the last message for the season of ZOE, this season 3. Obviously we meet every week, but this is season 3's ender. I thought it was an outstanding way to end it, because it's a good time to this message as well. Like, the holiday season coming up, you got a lot of people that don't have holidays, aren't exciting for them. You know, it's actually a time of deep feelings, and a lot comes with that. It's, you know, if you have family missing that you're used to having around, or you don't have family at all, or you have nowhere to go, you're doing it by yourself. A lot of people aren't eating like most of us are, you know, don't have anything to eat. It's not a different day. It's not an eating day. It's not a Thanksgiving day. It's a regular day of struggle. So I think this message is huge at the timing of it, because the holidays are coming up and the holidays flood us with all this emotion, and they flood us with these ideas of what we're supposed to be and how we're supposed to act, and then we have to give all these gifts and presents and buy and spend all this money and all these pressures around this season. And really all we want, I think all of us want as humans, is just have some other person give a crap about us. You know, I would exchange any gift I've ever got, ever, from anybody on any holiday and every birthday. Anything you can exchange gifts, I'd take them, throw them all to the left for one more human that gave two craps about me. Like that I knew. And I would show up, ask me how I'm doing, like for real, you know what I mean? Not like, hey, what's up, man? Like real, how are you doing? Look you right in the eye, how are you doing? Until you actually tell them the truth. You know, that's the type of people I want around. That's the type of people I think is the gift. And forgiveness is at the core of that gift. That's the relationship you talked about, right? Forgiveness is at the core of relationship. We can't have strong relationships. Think about the strongest relationship you have now. You just meld with the person, right? When you're in a relationship with somebody you really love and care about, you would do anything for them. Things don't make you mad as easily that normally would probably in your life with somebody else, right? Everybody knows this feeling. That's ultimate forgiveness because you've already forgiven them before. You just didn't know it. You already made a choice. This person cannot do any wrong in front of me. This person I will do anything for, and they cannot do any wrong in my presence. That's pre-forgiveness. That's all it is. Until at some point you decide that person's not right for you, or they decide you're not right for them, and all of a sudden it changes this dynamic like you don't even know each other. And I can't forgive you for what you've done. Why does it change like that so easily? It's how we make up our minds. It's what we tell ourselves. Don't attach so much to small things. We're all imperfect people, right? Imperfect is just another spelling of I'm perfect, which is super weird, right? Everybody's perfect in the big guy's eyes. Everybody's perfect in our eyes in this group, as far as I'm concerned. All the people I'm the closest to that I care about, I believe are perfect in their way. So I care about them. Even when I'm upset with them and I don't want to talk to them, or I get mad, or I'm like, that's a dumb idea or a dumb decision. Why are you doing that to yourself? It doesn't change my whole picture of do no wrong in my eyes. Right? And that's ultimate forgiveness. That is it. That's all we got. But the self one's huge. If you can't forgive yourself, you can't be there for anybody. Right? And you're just going to live in it and wallow in it. And it's easy. It's super easy to be there. So I think the message total for me was, I think Nate's big thing that came across to me, and I'll ask, obviously, Portia watched it. Jamie's on mute, so I don't think she'll say anything, but she watched it too, I know. But coming off that message, I mean, my big takeaway was, spend a little bit of time every day, each and every day, thinking about the things that are bugging you, thinking about the relationships that are bothering you. Every day, wake up, maybe it's part of your wake up routine, maybe it's part of your going to bed routine. Think about the people, the things that have done you wrong in your mind. Think about those situations, the person you haven't talked to forever that was your best friend, a relationship maybe that gone bad, or and anything that you struggle with that you said, man, it hurt that part of my life. That person hurt me. Why is it still here? Why is it still scarred in my heart? Why is it still holding on to me? Why, when I bring it up, I'm getting emotional now talking about it because I know a bunch of shit. I know a bunch of shit in my mind. So everybody's got it. You gotta be in tune with it, and you gotta be okay to talk about it. You gotta be okay to share it with people. Like here we have it, us supporting each other, right? Say it out loud, and then ask yourself, Why can't you forgive that? Why? What is it really going to change if you just stood up and say, you know what? Call that person and be like, you know what? I forgive you. With zero expectation of them saying it back or saying anything at all. But what would it do for you? You can lay it down. You can lay it down. You don't have to get emotional when you think about it. You don't have to have it bring up pain and hurt when you think about it. Think about it every day. That's my task, I think, for us in the waiting of the next season, I think, is every day, think about a couple things, a relationship that you just don't know. Sometimes you're not even the one holding it. Sometimes you're the recipient of somebody else not forgiving you. I've been in that. Sometimes that's harder because you want to do something about it, but you're not being let. So every day, let's think about something. Portia, what did you think about the message? You were on it. You were fired up. Your mom was on it. She was crying in the first 12 minutes of it. Share something with me.
Yeah, she didn't even listen to all of it, but she just heard forgiveness and it just started to trigger. It was like, because she always believes in forgiveness, you know what I mean? And I think that like what comes to mind for me, if like you had said, so if you think of like how a river flows, right? And so there's rocks and there's boulders and there's hills and the water just flows, you know, effortlessly and purposely. Like it just has the momentum. And like, you think about what would happen if that river took every boulder along with it, right? And it started to like pile up all of these debris and things. The water would eventually slow down, right? And it would swing and it wouldn't be carrying these things. And these are like the burdens of these boulders, carrying them around of our unforgiveness, right? And that's what the feeling of unforgiveness is. It's like our flow stops, right? And we get slower in that feeling. And it's holding us back from moving in every way that we can imagine. In every area of our life, it's holding us back. And so like if the river were to leave behind all of that stuff, that would be the pursuit of freedom, like we talked about. Yeah. And when I always think of forgiveness, I think of freedom, but I think of pairing the forgiveness with gratitude, right? And so when you compare it with the gratitude, it's a ripple effect of 100-fold, because when you can be that person to know that a lot of times whatever was done to you, you know, especially in terms of a lot of people have unforgiven. And I think you have to remember and remind yourself, whatever it is, it had nothing to do with you. And I really do believe, because a lot of times hurt people, right? And on the other end of that, always. And that's your freedom, right? When you don't take it personally and you don't give your power away to something so superficial. And a lot of times we're talking about, we hold anger against other people that have wronged us. And we're talking about frustrations towards ourselves. And like you said, you have to have that self-love. And, you know, we're feeling limited in our capabilities sometimes, or we're discouraged from we're holding the past against us to go into the future because of what we did in the past, or embarrassment or guilt about our mistakes, or even just like we worry about the future in general. That's all holding us back in a way. And I'll say this, like all of those emotions are normal because we're human, right? And we're supposed to have those emotions, but it's always back to the awareness, right? And those emotions are not meant to be felt forever. And they're meant to be felt and processed and learned from and grown from. And then we can put them aside, right? And we can just kind of let them go and know that they are setting us up for the opportunity to pursue something more purposeful in our lives and to have a better experience on earth, because we can essentially grow from them. And I think of like, for me, and having forgiveness, because I don't feel like I have any unmet forgiveness in my life. Like there's nothing that I have not unforgiven that needed to be forgiven, right? I don't carry around unforgiveness. And I feel like for me, a lot of things that really helped me was, one, to journal on what you're not being able to forgive about and what comes up to you. And like, why are you keep getting triggered on it? Because if you keep getting triggered on something, or you're triggering you're triggered by something somebody else does, you need to look inside of you and figure out why you keep getting triggered, right? There's something unhealed inside of you that you're hanging on to. And a lot of times it's just the story of you created, and it's not really even who you are. And you're just hanging on to and letting that.
I love the dam analogy. I mean, you didn't say dam. You didn't say dam, but those rocks being taken with and held onto can create a huge wall and dam and just block the flow of life.
Right? Or think of it like you have this every time, like you carry a brick around, and it's like a brick in your bag on your back, and like by the time
you carry bricks.
Yeah.
Who's carrying bricks around anymore? It's not the 1920s.
Yes. What I'm saying is like, so like you carry.
I know what you're saying.
By the time you're 40, forget it. Like you're done. But I think another thing I want to tell you is you can write a letter of forgiveness, and this is such a powerful healing exercise. And a lot of times, whether you write that letter and you give it to somebody, or you just write that letter to yourself, or you don't give it to somebody, right? I know a lot of people burn the letters. It's just so healing to actually get it out, and especially if you don't have somebody that you can talk to it about, and in a judgmental free way, or something in a safe space. A lot of people don't have a safe space to talk to somebody, right? And so that can be a great way, if you are by yourself, to use that tool and just put it on paper and just get it out of your mind. And it's so healing. And I think
I'm glad you brought that up. That's a technique we did. It's unbelievable the way you're saying it. We did that in coaching. You write a letter to yourself of what's happening now and what you want to happen. And then we would hold on to the letter for 3 months, and then we'd send it back to you in the mail. And you get it. I've done it to myself, where I learned it years ago. I did it to myself. When I received it 4 months later, I had no idea it was even my handwriting. I was like, who is this? Like opening it, reading it, like, what is this crap? If somebody wrote me a letter, like I didn't even initially recognize my own handwriting.
Yeah. That's
in
how much
4 months.
That's how much you grew in that time.
Right. And it's not like I write that much different, but my perception of what happened in 4 months changed who I thought I was and who I am. So that exercise, I'm glad you brought it up. Listen, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it right now after I'm done.
Yeah. So powerful. I just want to say I think when you can have the emotion of things don't happen to you, they happen for you. It's the gratitude, right? And there's always a lesson to be learned in that. And the thing about forgiveness, it's not like a one-time deal, right? Like,
it's forever. It's gonna be constant.
And another tool you can use, right, is your words. And I know I always talk to Amber about Louise Hay and the power of the word, right? And like, if you just started saying like, I forgive anyone that has done wrong for me, and like using that as your mantra, or, I'm beginning to learn now to love and accept myself, like something like that.
Yeah.
What is the power of the word is changing the body, the brain, and then our attention towards not only ourselves, but how we're going to show up and respond in the world now, because we're using that. And so Louise Hay said this: when we forgive and let go, not only does a huge weight drop off our shoulders, but the doorway to our own self-love opens.
Oh yeah.
I think it's so because forgiveness is not about the other person, it's about you. That's
good. That's amazing. On that, what you said brings me to the point one of Jesus's model for relationships is forgiveness. We talked a lot about forgiving and how you feel, but also keep your eye open of moving forward to a new relationship. It also stops you from getting into something great. It can stop you and slow you down from taking a new job off or a career path, moving, and most importantly, connecting with another human being, getting back into a relationship. And because you have not forgiven this back here, which you have zero control over, we're facing that way. Remember, we're facing forward. We can't fall back. You don't want to have a backup plan. You want to fall back. You want to keep moving forward. So you got to keep your eye open for that too. What the power, the freeness he's talking about in the message was the freeness of forgiveness is forgiving all that has been done, that is over, which is very important. It's over. You're not in the middle, it's done. Forgiving that. So the next thing that walks up in front of you, person, place, thing, you can embrace with trust and hope and all the things that way back when you were a different person, before you harbored all that, you were looking at. You were looking at experiences brand new. Like the first time you ever had a girlfriend or boyfriend, the first time you worked a shift at work, like the first time feeling. Remember that? Why do we stop having those? Especially when you met somebody for the first time. That's still a first time, right? Like, why are we going into it with our baggage and our unforgiveness of something that has nothing to do with the greatness in front of us? Right? So don't miss out on what's ahead of you by not allowing to let go of what's behind you. It's gonna hurt. It hurts. It cripples you. It'll bring up, when I talk about the science of the brain, get nerdy outside, like when I track the brain, that's what happens. When your brain files stuff back that's not taken care of in the moment, something happens to you, tragic, a breakup, abusive, anything happens to you and you don't face it when it's happening or directly after, and you let it go months, years, go on. What happens is a trigger works that thing gets filed back here, and the second a scent, a familiar place, a place used to eat with this person, anything, a freaking left turn on a street, the second something comes up, that thing comes so fast racing to the front of your tablet in your brain that you have zero control what it does. It'll flood your mind, it'll put cortisol through your body, and that cloudy feeling you get uncontrollably, that's happening. That chemical is rushing to the front, and that traumatic experience, whatever it was, is taking you over. And again, you can't do anything about it but get REM sleep to reset your levels to get like normal. So it is a serious thing. So let's let that go, right? Let's not hold it back here in case we need it one day to feel real shitty. Like my life's going too well. I mean, everything's so good right now. I gotta throw in a crappy day here. Let me pull something from the past up. No, heck no. Just here's a promise. I can promise you, God will promise you that there is tens of thousands more crappy days right in front of you. That hasn't happened to you yet. You don't need the ones that you already experienced. You're going to experience new ones, guaranteed. You do not get away from it. Forgiveness will have its opportunity every day for you. It's not going anywhere. Every single day. Every day you can look at something, someone, and go, I forgive you. I forgive it. I forgive this. I forgive me. That's it. Power. Amber, you got anything to interject? Would you like to add?
Jason can have the floor. I have just
Jason?
this little something.
What do you feel, my man? Tell me something. What comes up for you? Here, hold on. Let me unmute you. Hold on. All right, I just asked to unmute you. Go ahead. Hit it on your phone. There you go. There you are.
All right.
What's coming up for you, man?
About Thanksgiving, because I like what you said about Thanksgiving, because I have no desire to even have Thanksgiving this year, but I'm doing in my heart. I'm going to go down for my dad and my sisters and all that stuff. But me, I can stay home, not a problem. But I like what you said about that. We're doing it for other people, not if we stay home because of us, it ain't doing no good. But
Right.
If we go down for Thanksgiving and stuff like that, dad's looking forward to it and sisters and all that stuff. But me, I could stay home, but that ain't right.
Jason.
Hold on a second. Before you end that. Yeah, before you end that statement there, Jason, one, it is for you. I know what you're saying because I know what you're feeling. Every holiday is really rough for my sister and I.
Yeah, you've been through it.
But I will say this, it's not about you just showing up for them. It's about the Jason they're expecting too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Jason you're
Right.
expecting. You gotta
You're right.
celebrate the moment that you're in, like they were sitting right next to you.
Yep.
So I'm glad you're doing it, but also give yourself credit because, dude, you're not a different person than you were.
No,
last Thanksgiving.
right.
Step
You've
it up
been
and
through it.
add something cool to it this year. Add something cool in the honor of it.
Yep.
Get some, make some turkey butter molds. Those are pretty funny.
Yeah.
Jason, remember I told you though
Yeah.
that they're there to support you too, right? And that you don't have to go through
Yep.
it alone,
That's right.
right?
Yep.
So
Hey,
you can let
of course,
them know
I was gonna tell you.
let them know how you're feeling.
I was gonna tell you. Remember them cards you sent me? I give them to Dad, and Dad goes, "No, I don't need them. I don't need them." My wife said, "Take them. Somebody's giving you something." He goes, "Okay." I went down there the other day. I just take one out of the package, put it back away, and I just grab another one. Sometimes it's the same thing a couple days later. Dad's got them all sorted on the table. I about fell over. Seriously, I about fell over. I didn't say a thing though.
Good.
So,
Listen,
but-
sometimes what we need the most is the things that we deny. I'm guilty of this.
Yeah, I
myself.
about fell over. I seen that, and Dad has them all sorted.
That's awesome. Sometimes you just gotta put it in the face of somebody because I'm guilty of that a lot. I'm more of a giver than a receiver, and I will go without indefinitely. But it doesn't mean that I don't need it. It doesn't mean that I don't need it. It doesn't mean I don't crave it. It doesn't mean I don't want it. But sometimes you want most what we're not willing to share and tell other people that we need. So I'm glad you put him right in front of his face, because you know what happens after a while when nobody's around? When everybody's out of the room, he's not being judged. He's like this, going through them.
Yeah, seriously.
You know? So
Yeah,
that's what we gotta do to each other though. This is part of this, why we do connect.
I love this group.
Yeah, we do
I love
connect
this
group so
group.
we can let it to freak out, trust
Right.
each other with each other's lives, have somebody to lean on when it's hard, have somebody to pull us up when we need it. In numbers, we are stronger, we're better. We can do anything if we're all looking out for one another. And that just doesn't, it's just this group. It extends out through our circles, our everyday lives. Look at the people that you have not forgiven and forgive them. Do it for the holiday, do it for your Christmas present. This Christmas, forgive somebody something that's been on you for a while, and just watch you release so much of that harbored stress and that internal pain, all that stuff go away. Because it's about you feeling good, forgiving yourself for being you. I listened to this TED talk. It was unbelievable. I'll send it to you, the group. It was entitled "Stop Screwing Yourself" or something. Anyway, this lady is unbelievable. And she was talking about, I'll send it to you so you can listen, but the one thing she said, 1 in 400 trillion is the odds that you are here right now. 400 trillion, that you, Portia, you, Amber, you, Jamie, you, Jessica, Jason, myself, that you exist, You came out of the belly of your mother and you're here. And we want to squander it with things like, oh, I'm not going to get over that. I don't forgive you. I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to do anything. You know what I mean? Like, some of the stuff that we harbor gases, it fuels the pain we're going through. It doesn't help heal it. What happens is we get in a space where we want to do nothing. We don't feel the self-worth. Maybe we're not feeling the love for our community. Maybe we're not having a group like this. We're feeling alone and isolated. And all we want to do is be more alone. Like, leave me alone. I don't want people to witness it. But what that does is pour gas on the thing that's actually happened to you. That is the unforgiveness of yourself. It's to act. It's to move. Humans are meant to move. Get these things inside of you, this blood, these organs, these things pumping, moving. Get that adrenaline going. Get those things moving in your body so that you can start feeling better. So that when you're around people, you can start trusting, sharing, listening, talking. But when you're not even starting, it's real easy. It's real easy to be isolated, be alone, and not forgive yourself for things that just don't matter. 1 in 400 trillion you are. I mean, are you kidding me? That is undeniably the craziest thing I've ever heard. 1 in 400 trillion. You're sitting right here, talking, walking, pooping, eating, sleeping. I mean, you're doing all the things. Like, what the heck? You know, so it's time to forgive one another and forgive ourselves, more importantly, and start healing that heart up and mending it. And what a great time to do it. You know, Thanksgiving's coming up. This is the time of people. I have a friend that I talked to today that she's going through some stuff, and it's the same, like being around some family sometimes is a trigger. And you know what? It doesn't make it easier. You know, us talking right now, that's not like it's like there's a solution. It is work. You got to find it somewhere to forgive yourself. You got to find it somewhere to forgive that trigger that's happening with you in those relationships. And listen, the other end of that phone might be quiet. Might be a ringtone. You can't expect others to be where you are, but you can expect a lot more out of yourself. And that's what we're doing, right? That's what we do this for. Anybody else want anything to share? I know Jamie is on here, Jessica. I think
Say one thing.
of course you can, Portia.
I just need to say one more.
Of course.
I just need
Go ahead.
one, like you're talking about that, you know, forgiving others and everything, and expectations, and mirror that with like acceptance, right? Acceptance for who they are, where they're at, and this is what they're capable of right now in their lives. And because again, that's you just letting it go, and like, okay, I'm just accepting for who you are, and it's not going to let that trigger me, you know. And I wanted to say one other thing about how you talked about.
No. You said one thing. That's just two now.
This is my part of the mission in life, because so many people do not know how to receive. They're very good at giving, but receiving is very difficult. And my mission in life is to teach everybody to learn how to be open to receive, because if you are not open to receive in one area of your life, you are not open to receive in all areas of your life. And again, it's how we do one thing, how we do everything. And it's going to show up in all areas of your life. And you're not going to be able to live to that fullest potential and the fullest joy and the fullest bliss when you're not able to be open to receive. And I think that if you are ever in that situation where you feel awkward, that you're not sure how to receive, just just visualize and picture.
I'm just going to call you. I want to visualize anything. I just want to call you every time I feel like I can't receive anything.
Through it. But visualize this, that you being open to receive is receiving a gift from God, right? That's a blessing. So just be open to receive it and graciously say thank you. You don't have to. And when you give to somebody or somebody compliments you, like, you don't have to, and they say, you know, like, I think you're an amazing human being. You don't have to say back, I think you're an amazing human being too. Like, bask in it and just receive it. You don't have to give anything else back to them at that very moment. Like, don't put it back on them. Just take it in and just say thank you.
Yeah, I do that to you all the time.
I'm receiving compliments as well.
I do that to you all the time. You send me paragraphs of love and tell me what a great person. I can't even respond to them because I don't like it.
You just radio silent.
I know, because I don't like it. I just told you.
You have to learn to.
I know. I'm learning.
Those are the walls, right? Those are those walls, and those walls are going to be everywhere in your life.
I am calling you more, am I not?
And I don't want to see that hold you back.
I'm calling you more.
You should.
I'm getting better.
Because I can teach you so much.
I know you can. I know you can. If you're the smartest person in your group, you gotta change your group.
Yeah, that's why I show up in different groups on different days of the week.
I've spent a lot of time being the smartest person in my group, and I'm over that. I don't want to be. I want to learn. I want to hear. I want to listen. And I want to receive.
But you know, no matter what, you're the smartest or wherever you are in your journey, every time you interact with other humans, that's an experience, right? And you can learn from the experience no matter what level you're at or where you are.
Yeah. Amen to that. Amen to Hebrews 12:15 for that. Ooh. That was a good one. Listen, I want to share two things. One, this is the last ZOE for, I think, 3 weeks as far as doing the ZOE ones. But obviously we meet every Monday for Real Raw and Flawed, where I get to swear and be a little bit more myself.
Not to interrupt, I thought it was at 7 tonight, and then just so happened Amber, I don't know why I thought it was at 7.
It's because so 7 is where I started in Scottsdale, Arizona. We don't celebrate daylight savings time.
I like it at 6 myself. It ain't late.
We never change our clocks, but you guys do, and so does New York. So I always put the 7 for Arizona where I started it. But then it confuses people when the clocks change, because you go this way, we go this way, and everybody's like, wait. But
So it's at 6. It's at 6 o'clock from now on till the time changes.
for you,
Right.
Okay.
yeah, for you, it's still 7. in
Because
Arizona.
if it was at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock at night, I'd have to probably not be on it. I'd go to bed when this is
Drink
over.
a Red Bull, Jason. Get with it. Come on,
I know, that's still Jason.
change your schedule around.
Yeah, I will in about 2.5 years.
So that's that, but we're gonna still meet every Monday, because we always do. And
6
I'm on fire about something right now for next Monday. I kind of want to talk about it now, but I'll wait, I guess, a week. And then 2, if you're not, and I don't know that everybody is, but ZOE Church LA is, you search on YouTube, subscribe to it. If you have Facebook or Instagram, click on it, subscribe to it, because you're gonna get a lot more messages than to listen to. Like, I listen to this stuff all the time while I'm working and doing stuff, but connect to one of them, because they have so much more content than just the Sundays session. There's so much on there, and there's so many good topics, and they're just, I always tell you guys, this Monday is my favorite day of my week. It fills me with so much love and energy, because you guys are here and we get to talk about real things. And I love Mondays. Like, I love it. It was crushed when I even missed one. But they have so much more of that content. So if you're not, plug into that, 1, 2, I want to share a project that Portia's doing. It's the beginning stages, and she can dictate when it's going to be, available to everybody and how and all that stuff. But she's doing a very important project right now that I think is an unbelievable thing, because she's gathered so much information in her life, and to know her, that. But to listen to her speak about it, she's already done some YouTube stuff on content and videos, and to listen to her speak about it is particularly what she's an expert at. But if you listen to it, it's not much different than what we talk about in the day. It's about facing what's in front of you and what are you going to do about it. I think it's a brilliant thing she's doing. I think it takes a lot of courage that she stepped up and did it. She's doing it in the way that only Portia knows how. She's spending a lot of time and putting her soul into it, and it shows in the video. So she'll send it to everybody. Obviously, take a look at it and watch them, support her, subscribe to that. It's a very important thing she's doing. It's gonna change lives. What I've done here is minuscule to what I think she's about to do. So I appreciate you, Portia. Love you. Amazing thing.
Thank you.
Very inspiring.
I'm excited. And yes, how you do one thing is how you do everything, right? So you got to put your heart into it. Right?
Whoa, mind blower for the end there.
Oh.
My hair just exploded. I lost hair on the side of my head.
Excited for the opportunity to step into that and to help other people.
Love that. I love that. She'll share it with you guys. And what else? Oh, so I don't know if Jason, you probably don't know her, but Carrie is getting married soon. She hasn't been on because they've been all over the country. He's an ex-cop and doing this huge podcasting he does, and flies all over and talks to cops every state. So they've been on this crazy whirlwind, plus planning the wedding. So she always texts me. She always, we talk once a week. Cool. And I always fill her in with you guys and tell her everything about the thing. And she watches these every week. So she's still here with us. She sends her love to everybody. I think once the wedding cruise is over in January, she'll be right back on with us and joining us, because she is missed, and she is she's one of the heartbeats of ZOE. She does a lot for them. A lot of the reason they are the successful church they are is because Carrie's involved. So without her, there is no this for me, you know. Very important person. So she'll be back. She's getting married. Send her some love through the messages. And then other than that, we meet Monday next week. We're doing Real Raw and Flawed. And like I said, I think it's, I'll put it in the message board, but I think it's 3-week break before ZOE season starts again. Then we go back to every other. But either way, we see each other every Monday. We ain't giving up on each other. We show up every Monday for one another. I love you guys. Literally, this is the best part of my week. And I appreciate you spending it with me and the time. So appreciate y'all. Peace out.
Love y'all.
Bye, guys.
Hey,
Love
guys.
you.